Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Black Suspense with me, Robert.
With me, Pete.
No Moses.
No Moses. And in the flesh as
In
well.
the flesh.
Come on now.
Guys, you don't even know. When we started this, we always used to record in
Literally.
person
Legit.
in Moses' house.
Yeah.
Now we moved to Peter's house. Jeez.
Yeah, facts. All right.
Yeah. It's great.
That's good. That's good.
It's a bit late, so we're just going to try and power through this.
Yeah.
One for one?
Yeah, 1 for 1. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, let's go. Have you got a question?
I've got a question.
Okay.
It's a two-part question.
Oh, no.
Okay. Part one. Is it possible, and what does it mean? No, okay. Is it possible?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's a three-part question.
All right.
Okay, part one.
Yeah.
Is it possible to sell one soul to the devil?
Okay.
Or to anyone?
Yeah.
Two, what does that look like practically and like in the physical? Three, once you sold your soul, can you
Redeem it.
get to redeem it once you've partaken in all the spoils of the soulless life?
Yeah. It's interesting. Part one, I definitely think it's possible. I definitely think it's possible to sell one soul. I say that because
You have?
No. I'm of the belief that man has sovereignty over his own being. And I'm of that belief because I think that's why God holds us accountable for what we do, for what we say, for what we how we steward our existence. And so I think it's definitely possible for someone to make a contract with the devil, or sell their soul, or whatever.
What does that look like to like create a contract with the devil?
I mean, this is all speculation, and most of my, I guess, sort of spiritual imagery, if it's not directly in the Bible, will come from media, will come from movies and stuff. So I don't fully know what that looks like, but I imagine it looks like demonic possession or demonic empowerment. And we see that in the word. We see there are times where a prophet is speaking to someone, but he's actually speaking to the power behind them. And so we had, there were certain kings, or there were certain, there was specifically kings that were being empowered by something. And, the prophet would speak to that thing directly, and not to the king. And so I don't know what it looks like, but I imagine it would be, you start to get, the demonic possession or demonic empowerment and certain things. The devil is sort of the ruler of the powers of the air, so he's got power. So I guess it would be that. And you think of the magicians that challenged Moses. So when Moses would do I think they were able to do the same thing. I think you get access to certain kinds of power from the kingdom of darkness. As to whether or not you can redeem it, I know there is one unforgivable sin, which is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. Some people will argue that is blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. The whole idea of selling your soul, the whole idea of willingly giving your soul away. So I don't know. If it isn't, then I imagine you can be saved from it. There are redemption stories of like satanic priests and stuff like that, witches and stuff like that come to the faith. So I imagine if that isn't blasphemy against the Spirit, then there's a way to come back from it. But I don't know fully. I don't know fully.
May we never find out.
Amen.
Amen.
I ain't testing this. I ain't experimenting to go and then see. Yeah.
Cool. I'm happy with that.
Cool. Rah. So my question, I don't really have a question. But it would be interesting to actually hear your thoughts on this. So what do you think about we were watching the lady raise funds. So Anita was watching a church service, and amongst Pentecostal churches, people that have belonged to Pentecostal churches will know there's there can be someone that's raising funds, and they can be very passionate. What do you think about this particular way of doing it, though, where you mention an amount and you're waiting for people to come and give that amount before you move on, and then you gradually get smaller and smaller. So they'll start with like £1,000. So we want 5 people to give £1,000, and then we want 10 people to give £500 and stuff like that. What do you think of that approach to sort of raising funds for the church?
I think that I'm slightly on both camps.
Okay.
You know, I think
Interesting.
so. I currently work for a church, and we just had what's called the gift day, where
Right.
where
Yeah.
in all the services, they say, hey, we're trying to hit a certain target of direct debits coming in a month, or we're trying to hit a certain amount of money. So yeah, so today award is, you know, if you want to re-up your direct debit from the start one, or want to go give some money, please do, because we're trying to do it, and we're trying to raise the money for all these different things that we're doing. And then they'll have people come and talk about how they've been touched by the work the sun and stuff. That I feel is like it's like a good way to do it, because you can see the tangible ways the money is being spent,
Yeah.
and you can see the actual results
Yeah. Yeah.
of it, which is good. And sometimes people need to be pushed to give or give more. I don't think, and what one of the pastors was saying during his giving, he wasn't tying it so much for if you give,
And you get this blessing.
It was more,
I see blessing.
yeah, it was more, give so much that you become reliant on God to fill your need. And so it's like it goes back to that connection between you and God, and not being so reliant on your money that they're not reliant on God, which I thought is a better way of saying giving, especially when they're trying to re-up and stuff. So yeah, so I think sometimes people just need a push. Sometimes people need a bit of encouragement, because maybe they thought about giving, or maybe they haven't, and sometimes it just takes like a strong-willed person to be like, hey, yo, give.
To get them into it.
Yeah, and then that could be the first domino. And then maybe you just keep giving. It may not be in church, but you might just become a more charitable person as a result. Maybe you continue to give into church, and then church benefits, which means that you will benefit from the church benefiting. So I can see how it can be helpful to give people a push that they need sometimes. On the other hand, tying blessings to money given, be careful.
Yeah.
And not to say that there's not a principle
Yeah.
between, you know, reaping and sowing, but that shouldn't be the heart behind why you're giving. Because then it's almost like your relationship with God becomes very transactional.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
purchasing
Lord,
blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord, I give you £1,000. Why hasn't X, Y, Z happened?
Yeah.
And then it makes it seem like God is stingy, or God is trying to cheat you out of something that you are paid for.
Scammer.
Tinder swindler.
Stress.
Yeah, so I think that people need to be careful not to associate tithing with blessings. You know, you should be tithing, you should be given because God has first given to you, and this is an act of praise and worship to Him by giving back. And you know, it says, give cheerfully. If you're feeling hard pressed because you're giving your money away, then you've completely defeated the purpose of the giving, and you might as well have just kept the money. So yeah, I think that Africans need to be very careful, because it's not just Africans, and it's not just Pentecostals either. I think I think that within the church as a whole, we need to not shy away from conversations about giving and tithing, and these conversations shouldn't be happening just because the church wants more money. It should be part of the
Just regular.
yeah, just part of being a Christian. You know,
Yeah.
giving is part of being a Christian. In the same way, you have sermons on prayer, you have sermons on fasting, having sermons on giving. It should be something that is integrated into the church. Looking at it from both Old Testament and New Testament, and looking at what effects that can have on you and your relationship with God, rather than what you can get from the act of it. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
No, that's good. I'm happy with that, and that's a good perspective to have as well. I think, for personally, my sort of opinion on giving to church changed, especially when I moved into sort of leadership roles, because you start to see, actually, this isn't going into the I've been blessed to be part of churches where the offering isn't going into the pastor's pocket, sort of thing, and you can actually see what's being used. I think that sort of transparency and accountability is very useful and makes it, I think, as you said, a lot more tangible for people to see what their money is going to. But you also, I think you don't have to look too far to see the Creflo Dollars buying private jets and, you know, the multi-story mansions that some of these guys have. And it's like, okay. Sometimes from books, sometimes from the collection place.
Do you think with stuff like book sales that pastors need to give an account of where their money's coming from? What do you think? Like, you got a job, I don't ask you where your money's coming from.
Yeah.
Don't ask me where my money's coming from.
I think it's where there is a possibility of doubt or there's a possibility of misunderstanding. Giving extra information doesn't hurt. And so if I'm a pastor and, like, you know, for instance, someone like a T.D. Jakes or something, I say T.D. Jakes because I think I've heard this before spoken about him. A lot of his money comes from his books, and he wrote like is it T.D. Jakes or someone else? You know, he's got like devotionals and lots of stuff. He's invested in like TV series and all of these things. So he earns a lot of money from outside. I think where you have that amount of money, but then you also have access to, or presumed access to, church funds, it doesn't hurt to be able to give some extra clarity, because it's in as much as I have my own money or I have a job and I'm making my money, there's not going to be any confusion as to whether or not church funds will come to me, you know, as a member. There can be confusion as to whether or not church funds come to you as a leader. And so why not dispel that with saying, well, I do these book sales, or I've got this, and just giving full transparency, not letting anyone have anything to say against you. So I wouldn't say it's mandatory, but I'd say it's helpful. It's definitely helpful, because people will say whatever they want to say anyway. So if you give them all the information and they still want to say something, then it's on them. But at least then you've given them information. So, yeah. No, I think that's dope.
Yeah. I think it can be a bit egregious sometimes, like how much they push, but not too much.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Be inspiring. You know?
Not
And allow God to inspire them. You know, because it's God we're giving to. We need to remember, it's God you're giving to, not the church. Even though it's going to the church, it's going to God for the church, for God's work.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into this topic. So,
go.
I know what I want to talk about now. It's been inspired by 3 things I watched over the past, I'd say, 2 weeks.
Okay. Interesting.
So maybe we can break each one down a little bit and then we get to the overall topic.
All right, let's go.
So the first one is a movie. I haven't finished watching it, but it's quite good so far.
Okay.
I think it's called Fair Play. Let me just check.
Oh, I haven't watched this. I think I know who it might be about. I think I've seen a trailer for it. But
On Netflix.
yeah, no, I haven't watched it. I definitely haven't watched it.
Yeah, Fair Play.
Yeah.
But it's looking kind of nice on Rotten Tomatoes too. Oh no, the audience score's not good. It's good so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's basically just so far it's about this guy and this woman who work for the same company, and then he gets promoted above him, and now he's working under her, and the dynamics are getting a bit.
Right. Did he wanted it, didn't he?
So he wanted it,
He
and
wanted
then
the promotion.
and then she told him that he was gonna get it,
Yeah.
and then turns out that she got
So
it.
I've seen a trailer for it, I think.
Yeah. So right now it's looking, the tension is there.
Right.
It's crazy. So let me finish watching it before I give it as a recommend. But so far, it's looking serious.
All right.
The first scene was like crazy.
Oh, it's a series.
No.
First scene.
First scene.
Sorry, I thought first season.
I won't even spoil it because it was crazy.
Yeah. All right.
It made me want to gag and puke. It was disgusting. Anyway,
Okay.
it was crazy. Just know it involved period blood.
So unnecessary.
But it
Why
did.
do you watch these things? How do you find these things?
I watched the trailer. It looked good. And then they were in the bathroom together.
All right. Okay. All right.
It was crazy. Also, I think having sex on your period is overrated and disgusting and unhygienic. Don't do it. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not gonna offer any comment there. Not for any reason. I don't want to talk periods.
I think we know where Peter stands on that. All right, so there was that.
Yeah.
And then obviously, we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because I was moving. Peter helped me move. I'm in Kent now. I'm a Kent boy. Kent boy.
Kent massive.
London always have my heart, but now Kent has my body.
Medway massive.
Come on. So the whole thing with Jada and her interview debacles about how her and Will Smith have not been married for 6-7 years.
That man went to slap someone.
And she was like, when he was saying I'm his wife, I was so confused because we haven't called each other that. She said that. She said, we haven't called each other that in years.
She actually said that.
She said that.
In reference to the slap.
Yeah.
Dude, yo.
And then she was talking about how when Tupac...
She still carries his name, doesn't she?
Jada Pinkett Smith. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she just can't find herself, find a way to divorce him. It's just like, there's never going to be any reason why we should get divorced. I just haven't found it yet. And then she's talking about how, Tupac proposed to her while she was in prison.
This woman is obsessed.
It's crazy.
Unless Tupac isn't dead.
For his sake, I hope he is.
Oh, that is...
So, what do you do when you have a wife or ex-wife that is just dragging your name through the dirt?
I don't have a wife or ex-wife. I don't have a wife or ex-wife.
No, but if you're in a situation where your wife/ex-wife is just going spouting all your business everywhere.
Do you know what? At the back of my head somewhere, yeah, because I don't follow Will Smith. I don't know Will Smith, and people seem to present the idea that he's some sort of saint and a victim of all of this. I don't know. I don't know if he's truly a victim. I don't know if he truly doesn't have a part to play in all of this. Like, he's also out there doing his own thing. I don't...
Yeah, but at least he's being quiet about it and being, respectful.
True. But then it also presents if maybe he's being quiet about it, but it also presents as though he's some kind of victim. Like he's a Boy Scout and he just loves Jada so much and she just keeps dragging him through the mud. So I don't know on that part. Now, if I had someone that kept dragging me, if I was of Will Smith's fame, I'd probably want to address it. I'd probably want to sort of... Would I?
But that's why I think he's a good guy, because he could address it, but he's not, to protect her, because he still loves her.
I don't know. Well, if someone is dragging my name, not that there's much name to drag, but if someone's got an issue with me, I'd address it with them. I try to address it with them. Probably wouldn't want to do it on social media. I'd probably want to sort of catch them somewhere and then hash it out. Like, what's the issue, And if there's a legitimate issue, if I've done something wrong and I can see it, apologize. If I can't, then we agree to disagree, and it is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know for them guys, because it seems so sus. It seems like Jada keeps trying to find a reason to like just disregard the dude and make it seem like she's
Not the bad person in this
yeah,
situation.
yeah. And his silence on it, especially where he is famous, and especially where he does have like a social media presence, his silence is also a bit fishy. I don't know if it's love or whatever. I don't know. I just think them Hollywood types just they have some access to so much money and access to so much pleasure that I think it corrupts, and so you hear a lot of weird things about Hollywood guys and stuff like that. And I just imagine, yeah. There's something along those lines there that's going on. I don't know. From Red Table, that's the other thing as well is when Will does interact with it, he seems like he's hurting, or he seems like he's having like a.
I don't think he's acted.
Well, that's the thing. He's a good actor,
Not like that.
but yeah, that's yeah. So it gets weird because like Red Table talk, and he's sitting there and she's talking about entanglement. And he's like, yeah. He looks like he's on the verge of tears, you know. But then again, he looked like he was on the verge of tears in Emancipation, so he's a good actor. But yeah, I don't know. That whole thing is weird to me. I could. I saw a meme and I was like, oh, their work in the 90s goes away, and it was Jada, it was Whoopi Goldberg, it was Halle Berry, and it was someone else. I was like, is this even a question? Like, get Jada out of it. Like, all it is The Matrix. Apart from that, I don't know her from anywhere else. So
Was she in the Matrix?
yeah, she's Naomi.
Which one was Naomi?
The one that had the things, the spotted hairs.
Oh!
I think it was Morpheus' wife or something.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jada, bro, she's just a failed actress, bro. That's why she's angry. I'm not saying that. Be happy for your husbands when they succeed. Be happy for your wives when they succeed.
But the other thing as well is like, I mean, their kids are a little bit weird as well. Like,
I think that's her fault.
I don't know. I think it's both of them, honestly.
I think it's both of them, but more her.
Yeah.
Because the way she talks how they act.
Yeah, no, legit. Yeah. Yeah. And presents it as progressive or something. It's like, nah, it's just.
Oh, what's this?
It's desecrating the idea of marriage. What's what?
Do you see the thumbs up on the screen?
Oh, that's so that's macOS. The new macOS can natively respond to certain gestures and stuff.
Oh,
So it seems like you've got that gesture.
jeez.
That's weird. For those listening,
Sorry,
Robert just discovered something on macOS, and
the AI is taking over, bro.
it's not AI, but yeah.
All right, so that's the second story I saw, and the third story, I don't know if you saw this, about this woman who went on a date to the Cheesecake Factory.
No.
Okay, so there was this woman. She was going on a first date with this guy, and she was refusing to get out of the car. And then she started recording because he was taking her to the Cheesecake Factory, and I'm guessing it's like one dessert place in America.
Yeah.
She was talking about how she can't go to the Cheesecake Factory. Can you see how fine I am? One black woman, and then with some short Indian guy, and then she was like, "I'm not getting out of the car. I'm not getting out of the car." And he was like, "Okay, can we talk about this?" And so they get back in the car, and then they start having a conversation about why she's not going to Cheesecake Factory, and how it's disrespectful for him to be taken into such a place, especially on the first date. She wouldn't be caught going into a place like this. Turns out that he had reservations for this nice restaurant. She was an hour late getting ready.
All right.
Didn't give no information. And so the reservation finished, and then now she's here with this attitude. And then she tried to apologize a little bit, but he said, "No, we're going home." He drove her. He drove her home. She said, "No, we're not doing this." Nice false funny. I'll start saying it in career. She was crazy. She was entitled. Anyway, what these three things have in common, I think anyway, was for better or for worse, the dynamic of respect when it comes to men from women. So like women giving respect to men. And you're a married man. You know, you've got a wife. And you know, Paul says, "Husbands, love your wives," and it says, "Wives, respect your husbands." What does respect mean to you as a married man, and how do you go about getting or attempting? Because I don't know, I can assume about getting the respect that you want from your wife.
Yeah. It's an interesting question. So, it's funny because what's his name? Ezekiel, the poet, put up a post on Instagram talking about this and the idea. I think he was saying, "Oh, men don't need love," is a myth, and went on a long, monologue on how men do need love as well. But he made a good point in that what Paul says addresses roles. Women, respect your husband is, again, contextually probably more relevant, but a man, I think, in order to lead, in order to be the head as he is, would need respect is what can deter from that.
Do you agree that that men want respect, want love?
Would I agree? I think men aren't a monolith.
It's true for you then.
Yes, yeah, it's true. It's true for me. And I think most men end up being more logical, whether that's biological or not. I think most men end up being the more logical beings. And so love, like I don't want to speak in generalities. For me, I think that the love aspect of things, I almost, it's not trivialized, but it's almost, it's easier done, I guess. Like, I know my wife loves me, and I don't need necessarily validation for that. Especially as me, again, speaking personally, I'm not as much an emotional sort of feelings type of person. I like to be logical. And so the love aspect, I mean, she's carried a child for 9 months and given birth and breastfed for a year. And that's sufficient for me for the rest of our lives to know that she loves. Right. And I don't need the daily affirmations. But I think for me, the in leading, in sort of taking a position of being a leader, making decisions, guiding our family in a certain way, respect ends up being more of a hindrance to that than love. Like, you can not love me and follow my lead and we will succeed and I'll be happy.
Jeez.
Kind of.
Bars.
But then if you do love me but don't respect me, that hinders my role. Because if I'm trying to lead someone that doesn't respect what I'm trying to do, then chaos, right? And the opposite, I think, is true. Again, speaking for my wife, I feel sometimes, well, not sometimes, she doesn't really care for logical argument this, logical argument that. She's like, yeah, but I want to vent on something, or I want to I want to get something off my chest. I don't need a solution. I just need you to hear. You know, I know you love me. Yes, we live together. You do your chores. You do everything. You put tea to bed. All of that. I know you love me. It'd be nice to hear it every now and then. You know. So I appreciate that.
We've been talking about this for years.
I know. I know, and I'm still learning. I'm not even that great at it still. But for her to be the nurturer, to be the the woman in the relationship, she not loving her ends up being more of a hindrance to her role. I could respect her, and I do respect her, but if I'm not showing love, it doesn't. Yeah, take your respect and then put it in the your back pocket. I don't care, So I think that verse speaks more to, and I agree with Ezekiel on this. It speaks more to the roles and what can hinder those roles or hinder the individual from playing those roles, more so than saying men don't need love and women don't need respect, right? So that's sort of where I stand on the issue. And again, I can only speak for myself, and at least for my marriage. But that's sort of what ends up being true, is the respect, the love from either party ends up being more important for the role to carry on, and just fits with who we are in general. Yeah. So that's sort of me.
I think it's interesting for me that before I got married, when I did the 5 love languages tests, words of affirmation was number 1.
Right.
And since being married, acts of service has become number 1.
Mo said this as well since having kids. Yeah, he said it changed to acts of service.
And it's...
Wait, out of interest, is that your love language?
My love language.
You experience love more now through acts of service.
Yeah.
Whereas before it was words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
I think like once you start living with someone,
Yeah.
all the I really appreciate all the stuff you do. That goes out the window, That don't mean nothing. You're saying you appreciate me these times. The washing that has been there for 2 days is still there. That's crazy. But you love me. You wicked liar.
That's disgusting. Wicked liar. That's stress.
But yeah, I've definitely. Yeah, I think that I'd rather be respected than loved now that I'm married.
Okay.
Because the respect will lead to results and if the things get done. Yeah, and I think having that responsibility as a man, the things getting done, it's not that it's more important, but if you keep the ship right, then you can have all the party you want on the ship. If you're trying to have the party on the ship, but there's the stuff leaking, then you're having fun for a while, but then eventually the ship is gonna
It's not going to get far. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Can I throw a question in there?
Yeah.
So, do you subscribe to the idea of sort of specific roles? And if you don't mind my asking, in your own marriage, what role do you play? What role does Drea play?
So I would say that one is down. I'm a lot down.
I'm not picking you on that.
Mic check 1 2. Is that better?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I think partly it comes down to the fact that I work from home 3 days a week, and she works every day from the office. And we got an air fryer. I love the air fryer, and I think as a result of those two things, I've just ended up doing more cooking at home. When we were talking about getting married, like I was trying to beg her, babe, please do 80% of the cooking. I'll do 20, please. She was even trying to push for 70-30. But now I'm the one that does the majority of the cooking. Yeah, like having moved out of my mom's house, it's made me realize how much I enjoy cooking, how much I enjoy trying new recipes, and she gets to eat all the food that she wants, so she's not complaining. Yes. Yeah, so like cooking, I'll do the majority. Finances, I'll handle most of. She's better when it comes to like doing washing, like washing clothes, making sure the house smells nice. She's a better prayer than me, 100%. Yeah, I think those are the main things that like come to mind.
Okay.
And I think like being raised the eldest of 3 boys, there wasn't any your sister will do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
You know, I had to learn how to wash dishes, wash clothes, to descale fish. You know, because after a while my mum wasn't going to do it.
Fair dues.
And so, yeah, and my mum didn't baby me, like I know that some mums baby their sons, and not having sisters, I didn't fall back like there wasn't like house girl sort of thing, and but even like my mom and her sister, the way that our grandfather brought them up is to know how to do things, but like if you got a flat tire, yeah, you know how to change it, but if there's a guy to help you fix it, let him fix it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like having the skills so that you're not ever wanting.
Yeah.
But then if a guy's around to do certain things, let him do certain things. And then that will leave you to be able to do certain things. You know? Yeah, so I don't ascribe to certain gender roles. People do what they're best at doing in a relationship.
Yeah.
And even if you're not the best, give it a go. You might learn a new skill.
Sure.
You might stretch yourself a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like even with the new, even like with the moving, Andrea handled a lot of the inside admin. So that's like cancelling the like debits, the direct debits,
Yeah.
cancelling subscriptions and stuff, which isn't something normally that she does, because that's something I would do. But she had the time, and yeah.
You just had to
Yeah.
do what needed to do.
And it's not that she can't do it, but she, yeah. We're having this funny conversation the other day, because there was this meme. No, there was this video on Instagram where like a guy and this girl were walking down the street, and then it was showing they're like in the monologues,
Right.
and like the guy was just like looking out for danger, looking, okay, we're good to
Yeah, I
go
see
to
that.
it.
I see that. Yeah.
And then we was just like la 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 la. I was like, maybe this is me and you.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, I should have the ability to just be free
Yeah.
when you're around.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think sometimes girls call it living their soft life.
Soft life.
And I don't know, sometimes that's frustrated, because it's like, have some focus as well, so that there's not as much burden on me, you know? But at the same time, I do want her to have a soft life when and where I can allow it.
Yeah.
It's about finding balance. Yeah, because sometimes I want to be. I don't want to be soft, but I just want to not be
You wanna be
turned
soft?
on all
You
the
wanna be
time.
soft?
No,
Okay.
I don't want to be soft. I don't want to have to be switched on all the way all the time,
Yeah.
because that's tiring.
Yeah. Fair. Okay. Yeah. No,
Yeah?
Fair. Yeah, cool.
Do you feel like you're turned on a lot of the time?
You made a switch to switched on. That was a better choice of words.
Switched on all the time.
Yeah, but then that's my default. That's my default. So it's not as tiring.
Oh, no,
or thing.
it's my default too. But
Yeah.
then, if you're like me, we'll go on to burnout. And I found that being married, I hit burnout a lot quicker than before I got married.
No, I think because it's so similarly, we do things almost based on like competence. Like it's easier, and I prefer like cleaning and stuff and doing most of the cleaning. I'd want to help out with cooking more. I should help out with cooking more, but Anita does like 95% of the cooking. Like the 1 or 2 times I'll do cooking, I like make a big deal of it. Like, yo, I made jollof. Yeah, I'm a big don. But like, I think it's funny because we had a similar conversation when talking about like doing worship and doing managing the lyrics and stuff and the stream, and it was like, because it's not as taxing because it's my default, if that makes sense. Like it's not when you guys were doing, they're like, oh, it's so much to manage, and actually like, yeah, it's a silly amount to manage, and shouldn't be done by one person. But then if that's like your mode of operation, then it's like it's not as much to manage because you're just doing.
Yeah, but just because something is your mode doesn't mean that it should be your mode. You know, in the way that yes, a woman can be a single mom, but doesn't mean that she should be a single mom.
No, yes, yeah, yeah. But then it's different in that if like if a system if you have a system that works a certain way, functions a certain way, and does a certain number of things, you could always reduce the load on the system. You could. But then if the system is working optimally, right, with a certain load, and there's like if it's working optimally, there's no need to reduce it. And for that system it's fine.
Well, if we're going back to church though, I don't think church are optimum.
No, it's not. It probably isn't. It probably isn't. But in terms of like, I'm speaking towards to
But you know what? I feel like since Moses has come along,
yeah.
you've been at the back a lot more than you were before, and so you're able to engage.
Oh yeah, yeah,
when you can,
yeah, yeah.
and that benefits you.
It does. It does. But then when I'm still, if I'm there, if I'm at the front, if I'm watching the lyrics and stuff, it's still fine. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's not
like
the same.
it's
It's not the same. Like,
How do you
like-
mean?
because you can't 100%. You don't have the ability to 100% get lost in worship if you know and click the next slide. Because your brain is in two places. It's in the okay, I'm worshiping.
But then
and-
it's also it's because it's funny because like, and I was saying this to you, I almost see that as part of my worship. I see it as part of my worship to be paying attention and switch slides and stuff like that. I see that as part of it, and so it's like it doesn't feel like a burden. Doesn't feel like it's preventing me from getting lost in worship in that sense. Because I don't tend to get lost in worship.
You
in that
do.
sense.
I've seen you. I've seen you.
What if I'm singing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because I don't want to see people.
No,
That's why I don't want to look at people.
no. But even when you're like at the back, no, not even at the front.
Yeah, but it's again, I don't know. It's different. It's not better or worse. It's if there's the opportunity to, then yeah, fine. But if there isn't, it's not a reduction, if that makes sense. It's not a reduction in the experience of worship, in the feeling of worship, because I am not at the back, not worrying about next. It's a different kind, and I don't think one's better than the other.
Yeah, but I think that a balance between different kinds is important.
Fair, yeah. And so I think this was in terms of staying switched on. Yeah, it'll be nice. Not nice. Nice isn't the word. It'll be different if, for instance, we're going somewhere and Anita had to pay attention to signs of danger, stuff like that. Which she could. Anita's actually very like, she's sensitive to certain things. It's like, oh nah, I don't feel right about this place. Nah, cool. But then it would be different and not necessarily less taxing on me, if that makes sense. Because it's my default, and because like I'm always sort of just watching stuff and paying attention and doing stuff, and it's been my sort of default.
But you know, it's nice when you don't have to be watching out for stuff.
You say that, but I wouldn't feel comfortable. I'd feel exposed.
Yeah, but then at least you have the option.
Yeah, I guess.
You know? And then if you want to turn off, you can turn off. It's like the difference between driving and then sitting in a car. You know?
I see what you're saying. I see that illustration.
No.
but
So sitting in a car with someone you're happy
like
driving,
as a passenger.
driving.
No, yeah, as a passenger. But then those again. So that's the thing. That's where it's different for me, because then you're not doing anything. So that's partly why I do enjoy like when I go up to Oxford, and I'll take the public transport, and it's like a long journey. It's fine because I get to watch stuff, right? And I get to like just relax and not do that. But then that's not the same experience for me when it comes to switching off. It's not like that where I get to take a seat back. It's abnormal to me to switch off, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's bad.
That's not
You
bad.
should be able to
That's not
switch
bad.
off and not feel weird.
Nah, I think you're constructed a certain way. So
No,
It's like breathing. Like you should be able to hold your breath, but
No, don't be silly.
it's abnormal to do that for longer than 2 minutes.
It's like people that have like the work emails on their phone. You should be able to make a delineation between this is work time, this is home time.
Yeah, but that's different.
Not it be Saturday and then you're getting notifications.
That's different.
It's not.
It is.
It's about making delineations between, okay, now I'm in this mode, I'm in work mode. Here I'm in
Yeah,
house
but
mode.
you always have to be in exist mode, and to be in exist
No.
mode safely.
That's what, and that's
Switch off.
and you know what's wrong. That's why you have an office in a different room from the room that you.
No,
sleep
yeah,
in.
but that's different. This is what I'm saying.
Everything different.
Anyways, yeah. Oh, I forgot where we were before we got onto this.
We're talking about splitting of duties.
Yeah. I enjoy. I like. I don't know the words for it. I exist in the duties that I embody, and I would want to help out with like stuff like cooking and stuff.
So what's the
but
point?
I need it's better.
So
Like I need to cook, and it's just better than when I cook.
yeah, because you've practiced.
Yeah.
So practice more,
Fair,
especially because you work from home 5 days a week mostly.
fair point. But then see the other stuff as well. I do better, so why not like work according to your strengths?
Because then by developing other skills you get a new strength.
Fair. But then also, if you can do something, if it's more convenient, if it's not even more convenient, but if it's better optimally for you to do the things that you're strong at, why not just do the things you're strong at?
Because how do you
And
know
then we
Anita
can
doesn't
both
want,
function.
how do you know Anita doesn't want to be cooking 95% of the time?
No, I know she doesn't. I know she doesn't. And so I am trying. I'm trying to figure it out. But yeah, I'll get there. But I think maybe one reason why I'm a bit more relaxed about it is because it's not an unfair sort of distinction. Now because things are a bit different, I need to pick up more.
Is it not unfair, or you believe it's not unfair?
Oh no, I don't think it's unfair. I don't think Anita would make that argument either.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because it's not just like if you divide the housework and everything to do with the house, I think if cooking is one side of it, almost everything else is the other stuff that I do.
I don't think cooking is equal to half of the housework.
Well, would you say it's more than half?
No?
I think it is. But Anita cooks a lot. And sometimes she would do the dishes, but most of the time I'm doing dishes.
Nah, I'd say
I'm
cooking
cleaning
is.
the house.
I think cooking is 20%. Oh
I wouldn't say 20%. No, I think cooking's a lot more.
no,
It's a lot more.
the biggest is tidying up, because there are so many rooms in the house you have to tidy up and maintain.
Yeah, but no. I think in this house, cooking is a big part of it. Anita does a lot. So yeah, I do need to try and do more. I do need to try.
I
And do
think cooking 20%, tidied up 40%, that's 60%. Finances 10%, because once you have it rolling, it's
more. It's
rolling.
done. Yeah.
That was 30%. I don't know. Maybe 50% is tidying, because on the tidying comes like washing clothes and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lot of how we spend our time.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Because otherwise the dishes pile up and you're there having to eat out the Tupperware.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, let's just run out soon because it's getting early. Last question.
Oh, snap. It is. Yeah.
Last question. What advice would you give to a guy who feels like he's not getting the respect that he wants from his significant other?
I think the bad thing to do is to internalize it and not speak about it or I think articulate it, express it, but then it's twofold. On the one hand, are you a guy worthy of the respect that you want? And I think there's an element of looking in the mirror and being honest with yourself as to you're not getting the respect that you want. Are you being the kind of guy that can command that respect? And you very well could be, and have a wife that just doesn't want to give the respect, which is fine, not fine, but which is, which is a reality for some people, unfortunately. But on the second hand, if you are doing what you need to do and you aren't getting the respect that you crave, articulating it, expressing it. If you can't speak about it directly with your partner, then getting, a respected third party involved, and I really believe in trying to make an almost objective case. So if that's given a specific situation, and this doesn't always work, by the way, but I can give you a specific situation in which certain behaviors resulted in me feeling disrespected, and be able to lay something out like that. And again, that's because maybe I'm very logical. That then gives me a clear-cut case as to this is what you did that I felt was disrespected. Maybe you explain your position. Maybe get that respected third party involved. But yeah, it's those two. I think that would be the advice, underpinned in both cases with prayer.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's I think God that changes hearts.
Yeah.
So whether you don't think you are the guy that needs to be respected, or you are the guy that needs to be, and the person isn't, either case, I think do so prayerfully.
Yeah.
My thoughts.
Agree that I've seen prayer change Andrew's attitude towards me at certain times. Like, when you can't feel like you can't bring something to them, so you just like, Lord, please change them.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I think, like you're saying, sometimes it's a change in you that will cause a change in them.
Yeah.
Are you loving them the way you're supposed to be loving them? Are you acting respectfully? And if you are, continue. Just because someone isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing doesn't mean that you should stop doing what you're supposed to do. Especially as you're supposed to be leading by example. So lead well.
Yeah.
Won't be feeling so jaded.
Disrespect.
All right, let's round up there.
Yeah.
Hookups?
Hookups. Cool. Have you got any hookups?
Yes.
All right.
I have a podcast.
Okay.
How Married Are You?
All right.
It's Belief in Fatherhood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and his wife Yvette. Yeah, so they've got a podcast where they talk about relationship dilemmas, talk about their like married life, like raising kids and stuff. It's really good. I think they're like 200 episodes deep, and they're like 20 to 30 episodes, 20 to 30 minutes long. So,
cool.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Okay, my hookup will also be a podcast. So it's a podcast I've recently got back into, which is called Wait, Don't Tell Me, and it's an American NPR podcast, but it's like a news, a quiz show based on the news. So effectively, that's sort of how I get my news. But it's very funny. It is American, so it ends up being a lot of American news. But I don't watch the news, and I like it's a funny. They get celebrities on there as well sometimes too. As do really short interviews, and then they specifically ask the celebrity something that is not related to the celebrity. Ask some questions about it. So it's quite cool. It's quite a funny one. So it's Wait, Don't Tell Me. It's my hookup.
Cool.
All
right. Shout Rude for the intro outro music. Calvin Tons for Audrey and May's logo. You can find us on Twitter, aka X, at The Furnace UK. Instagram at TBS Furnace. You can email us at tvsfurnace.com. You can find us at soundcloud.com/tvsfurnace. On all the podcast websites and apps. That's First with an apostrophe. YouTube, Ordinary Amazing. That's it. So this is the Blacksmith Furnace signing out.